missing. They don't even waste any time with the producer credits in the beginning of this movie. It's just straight up Mad Max. Boom, started. Tom Hardy standing there, eating two-headed lizard. Go! Engine revs. Oh yeah, I'm feeling the tingling. Crazy cool voiceover. My gets hard. The movie starts. Go! Now, I'm not gonna say the pacing in this movie is perfect. There is one sequence where he goes to the Ladyland, and it kind of drags for a little bit there, but it still has, even in the slow parts, still very strong character scenes.
Hey bro, why you selling us out? Everyone know that this movie's just a feminist propaganda flick.
I don't give a They're good characters. Hell, I would even argue that Mad Max isn't even the strongest character in this movie.
Hold it up. You. Hold it up. You'll be okay.
Number 4, cinematography. This movie looked good. John Seal killed it. Cinematography, one of the most important aspects in movies, does it in spades. It's crazy. I mean, it's up there with Skyfall.
Now wait just a minute, right there, you son of a... I mean, yes, this movie did look incredible. I mean, look at this. Still, it is no Skyfall. I will always insert a silhouette into the scene and it will look awesome. Is basically orange-blue contrast personified. Now I know it gets a lot of hate with all the internet players because it's so overused in movie posters. But here's the thing, they are complementary colors and it works. Beautiful desert landscape to computer-generated sandstorms that look so convincing as composites on the film. They just totally sweep your way into another world. Absolutely top-notch stuff with the mix of the practical and the computer-generated to totally make everything more convincing. Where the hell is my Oscar?
Número 3.
Minimalistic Plot.
Mad Max is one of the best movies in recent memory to just perfectly nail the minimalistic plot. Some other great movies that have done this perfectly is 12 Angry Men, the amazing sci-fi movie Moon with Sammy Rockwell. The action setups are very simple, so you could put yourself in those situations of the characters. A great example of this is the first scene where Furiosa steals the big rig with all the brides in it. Us as audience members understand what she is doing, but George Miller writes the characters correctly and they do not know what we know. So Furiosa's first-in-command dude is genuinely confused on why she's making this turn. Hey Furiosa, where are we going again?
Oh, it's just, you know, I have to do, I need snacks.
Snacks, of course, yeah.
Yeah, and also, you know, I just had a couple big gulps of breast milk, so I could use a piss.
I get it. It's just that, you know, Immortal Joe is like the only bastion of hope for us war boys in this godforsaken land. I mean, he's promising us heaven, and he's going out and getting us, you know, bodies, and just in case we get cancer, because it's, you know, all the radiation and stuff. I mean, he has water and a giant tower, and he's growing grass, and he has this whole cool religion where you grow yourself out and go to Valhalla, so I really don't want to piss him off, so yeah. Oh, no! I'll take that down the line. Don't worry about it. We're buddies, right? You would never, you know, betray my trust, would you?
Hold it up.
Furiosa?
Yes. You. Hold it up. You'll be okay.
It was so refreshing that he didn't just immediately shoot her.
Paging number 2. Paging number 2. Characters needed.
Walking out of this movie, I realized one of my favorite aspects of it was the characters and the detail that went into them. And one of them that I was especially surprised by was Nux. When Immortan Joe even looks at him, you could just see it is such a big deal to his character that he even glanced at him. The dialogue between him and his second-in-command is actually hilarious.
He looked at me! He looked right at me! He looked at your blood bag! He turned his head, he looked me straight in the eye! He was scanning the horizon! No! I am awaited! I am awaited in Valhalla!
I mean, as audience members, we are so used to be treated as idiots. We are told with tons of expository dialogue what the intentions of these characters are, where they're going, what their arc is eventually going to be, their backstory. Mad Max doesn't tell you the characters in the backstory of this movie. It shows you. Small things just suck you into these characters. Them blowing baby powder on the back of Immortan Joe's diseased and polypy back. The war boys dressing up their tumors with tattoos and giving them names with my mates. Everyone having their own personalized steering wheel because it means so much to them. The steering wheel is like their own sword and they all have their own personalized flair on. There are so many of these little things that if you weren't paying attention, you would miss. This movie just has them passing by you. It doesn't insult you. You derive the history of these characters visually, and that is more effective of having you suspend your disbelief for this culture. You were also given so much history and characterization of the war boys through the scene where you see the first war boy kill himself. I mean, as an audience member, you're like, what the heck? What is this guy doing? He's chroming out his lip. He's spraying some drugs on his mouth so he doesn't feel the pain or something? Oh, that's paint? Oh, wait, that's chrome. Oh, snap. These guys are mechanics. Oh, I get it. He's kind of dressing himself up for his final thing. Oh, this movie's dope. The whole thing just totally sucks you into the movie and you just buy it. You're like, yes, this is awesome. I'm on board. Another great scene that even elevates Immortal Joe's character even further is when he stops from shooting the car because of the girl that was in the way, one of his wives. I mean, it just makes a lot of sense because, you know, Joe loves these girls and he's just such a classy guy. Okay.
Don't shoot my bitches. Don't shoot the weird model win. Don't shoot Lenny Kravitz's daughter. Don't shoot the chick from Transformers. Seriously. Do not shoot Lenny Kravitz's daughter. She's the hottest one.
I mean, when you go home and IMDb all the characters and you realize that's Lenny Kravitz's daughter, you're like, what?
Number 1. Perfect action type blending.
The action in this movie is astounding. Before I walked into this movie, I made a lot of assumptions about what the action was going to be. It was way more than just some grungy MTV music video type of thing I was expecting. It was insane. It excelled in all different types of action in such a spectacular way. I mean, you have crazy, almost buddy cop moments with Furiosa and Mad Max. One of my favorite moments in this movie is when they're ambushed by the motorcycle gang in the canyon. And they're jumping all over these jumps and throwing these bombs on the big rig. Mad Max and Furiosa's character realize that they have to work together to get out of this situation. This whole movie has been building up to this moment where they start working together. And when it does, it is glorious. The soundtrack for these action set pieces is so good. Hard rock, grunge, accelerator pedals, stuff like that, to just spectacle. It just totally cleanse your palate of what you were listening to before. Not that what you were listening to before was bad. It's like having steak and then washing it down with some milk.
Of our preferred customers. It's so wonderful to see you here again this evening.
Now, I'm going to want the milk steak boiled over hard and a side of your finest jelly beans raw.
Another type of action that this movie does so well is fight choreography. I mean, The Raid 2 is one of my favorite action movies last year, and this movie seemed to take a lot of notes from that. This movie's fight scene with Furiosa, Mad Max, the wives, and Nux is just nuts. One reason that this fight is so effective is that you believe that the characters are actually trying to hurt each other. It's just vicious. They are throwing dirt in each other's eyes, using any sort of thing that's nearby them to hurt each other. They're actually trying to hurt each other. None of the choreography looks fake. It looks good. It's intense. It brings you in. And finally, it does some of the best car chases I've ever seen in a movie. In fact, this whole movie is essentially a giant car chase. It seems like this movie was consulted by a mixture of Travis Pastrana from Nitro Circus and Cirque du Soleil. One thing that always bugged me about movies where cars explode or car crashes, that you don't see the bodies fly out of the cars and hit the ground or get crushed. This movie shows bodies flying out of cars and getting crushed on the ground. Hell yeah! It blends this action type so well with the practical and the almost fantasy elements to the action. It goes from a standard car chase through the desert to the sandstorm sequence. The soundtrack gets more operatic as the tornado just lifts people off the ground. It's one of those moments in a movie where you cannot stop your eyes from widening and just your jaw drops when that happens. And to put the cherry on top, when that scene ends, it feels like the movie just finished its intro. You have to go back to Terminator 2 to get a movie as good as this.
Real talk! Real talk! Real talk!
As far as pure action. That's 24 years.